To the Duck Pond in January. Glad to have you here. I am Vern Stenman. I'm the president of the Madison Mallards, and I am super excited to talk to you guys today about the next chapter here at Warner Park and as part of the Madison Mallards and summer, really, in Madison. It's my honor to introduce Wisconsin Department of Tourism Secretary Ann Sayers. As an avid fan of F1 racing, college gymnastics, and all things Wisconsin, Bucks, Badgers, Packers, and the Mallards, and forward Madison FC, I think as well, right? Secretary Sayers understands the passion competitive sports evoke, leading the Department of Tourism since 2020. She also knows how important athletic teams are for bringing visitors to Wisconsin's communities. Please welcome RMC and Wisconsin Tourism Secretary Ann Sayers.
Thank you so much, Vern, for the invitation to be here today. This is just so exciting. I specifically asked that no one mentions Simone Biles so that we can keep this party on track and I don't get sidelined. Okay, so here in Wisconsin, we hold a deep love for our sports teams, from the professional level to the amateur, from the pregame rituals to the postgame celebrations. This love is a reflection of who we are at our core. We are spirited and celebratory, and we let it be heard when we are cheering in the stadium. But we're also friendly and down to earth. We make the visiting fans feel welcome and will happily recommend our favorite spots after the game. We represent what you want to see in a great sports state. And I've witnessed it myself. Of course, I've felt the energy at the finish line at the end of the American Birkebeiner. I had the honor of getting to throw out the first disc in front of all the passionate fans of the Madison Radicals. It went terribly, but they were still so nice about it. I've jumped around at Camp Randall, of course, and so much more. So for many visitors, sports are the motivating reason to travel to and across Wisconsin. But they also want a destination that will leave them with lifelong memories. Things like first-rate venues like the Duck Pond, the restaurants serving local flavors, the unexpected attractions, the unmatched hospitality only found in Wisconsin. Wisconsin's athletic teams attract visitors to communities, and when they get here, they are wowed by the experience, both inside and outside the ballpark. Athletic competitions support our cities in more ways than just community pride. They sell out the local Quick Trip out of products in Appleton, where they hold youth hockey tournaments up there. They pack the restaurants along East Washington Avenue before a Forward Madison match. They keep our hotels busy on the very important weekdays and weekends. They just simply generate economic impact across the state. Wisconsin's passion for its athletic teams is real, and the economic impact for sports tourism is also very real. For years, the Madison Mallards have been a beloved part of that landscape, and with today's announcement, Wisconsin sports fans are going to have one more reason to celebrate. Joining us now is Samantha Rubin, General Manager of the Madison Mallards. As a Florida native, she grew up playing softball and was the captain of her high school softball team. During her time at the University of Florida, she was a rower and won a national championship her senior year. She's now entering her third year with the Madison Mallards and is the first female general manager in Mallards history. Please welcome Mallards General Manager, Samantha Rubin.
All right, thank you so much, Secretary Sayers, for being here today. Ladies and gentlemen, softball fans, players, and supporters of women's sports in our great community, please stand. For those of you sitting, please stand and show your Madison pride with me as I proudly announce with you here together that we are launching a groundbreaking women's summer collegiate softball team here at Warner Park in 2024. Okay, you guys can sit down now. We try to make everything fun here. The Northwoods League softball will be the first ever league to showcase top collegiate softball players in an environment that is similar to a Mallards game. We cannot think of a better place to launch something as groundbreaking as this than the best women's sports town in America. We are excited to introduce to everyone here today as well our first softball employee, Savannah Rainey. Where is she? Give away. Savannah is a Madison native from Verona and a former softball player at Verona High School. She won 2 all-state recognitions and 4 all-district, area, and conference recognitions as well, and was selected to play on the Wisconsin Fast Pitch Softball Coaches Association Senior All-Star Team. She went on to play Division I softball at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and later transferred over to Howard University. She recently moved back to the area and is honored to join us on this new endeavor starting Monday. So thanks for being here. By adding Savannah to our staff, we are increasing our female leadership here in the company to 8, which is really exciting. That is not something many minor league teams can say. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see everyone on June 16th for opening night of Madison Softball.
Thank you, Samantha. Our next speaker was a women's basketball player at the University of Iowa, earning both business and law degrees. After graduating, she was a member of Iowa's women's basketball coaching staff, finishing her time there as the director of player development. Please welcome Northwoods League softball president and commissioner, Catherine Reynolds.
Good afternoon, and thank you to the Mallard staff and team for having me here today. And look at this support. It's not even softball weather. We've got a crowd like this. So, thrilled to see everyone here today. The Northwoods League Softball League will be starting with 4 teams, Madison being the 4th of those 4 to be announced. The others being in Minot, North Dakota, Mankato, Minnesota, and La Crosse, Wisconsin, which are all 4 locations that we currently have Northwoods League baseball teams in. And I'm sure many of you here are familiar with Northwoods League baseball. We'll play a 42-game season. 21 of those will be home games, some doubleheaders, some single gates. And so I think those sales for the beer out here, I've seen it flowing on Northwoods League Baseball Mallards night. So I can only imagine for a softball doubleheader, throw in some baseball. It'll be a lot of fun. To explain the vision for our softball league, I think it's helpful to know a little bit about the history of our baseball league. We started 30 years ago with 5 teams. Now we have 26 baseball teams across 7 states, 1 in Canada. Last year, we drew over 1.3 million fans across those locations. And we really believe that over time, that's the same footprint and model that our softball league will follow and grow exponentially and quickly. And the support that you're seeing here today, I think, is a perfect example of why we feel that this is going to really take off and provide an opportunity for softball athletes, coaches, and umpires that doesn't currently exist. Communities like yours are the backbone of the Northwoods League. You come in here, you've led the league in attendance for years, and I know you've set the standard, and again believe that that's exactly what will happen for our softball league here in Madison. It's an amazing time for women's sports in general right now. If you look across the country, and specifically even in the Midwest, the volleyball team in Nebraska drawing 90,000 people to come watch a volleyball match. I know a little biased to the University of Iowa, but drew over 56,000 fans to watch the basketball team play in their football stadium, 10 million viewers for the national championship game. Specifically with softball, they break attendance records every single year at the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City, averaging 12,000 fans a night for that event. And they're averaging 2 million viewers a game. So when people act like there's not people that have they're really craving women's athletics, it's simply not true. There's a huge demand for it. It's rising in popularity. We've got little ones like this that are setting the example, the next stars of the future in softball and other sports. And we're so excited for Madison to be a part of our footprint. So again, on behalf of the Northwoods League, thank you for having me here today, and I look forward to seeing you here at a game this coming summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. I love those stats. Satya Rhodes Conway is the 58th mayor of Madison. Her administration is focused on affordable housing, rapid transit, climate change, and racial equity. She has extensive experience in local policy and practice, having worked with mayors across the country for over a decade and having served 3 terms on the Madison Common Council. Elected in 2019, she's the city's 2nd female mayor and the first out LGBTQ person to serve as mayor of Madison. Please welcome Mayor Conway. Rhodes Conway.
Thank you, Secretary, and thanks all of you for joining us here today. I'm so excited about this. The piece of my biography that the Secretary didn't read, which we should put in there, is hardcore women's sports fan. I grew up, I didn't ever play softball. I played rugby, but I grew up watching softball. I mean, from when I was a little kid, I grew up watching women play softball. And it's very meaningful for me to know that we're going to have an opportunity right here in Madison to watch women play softball. Of course, you can go out to Warner Park and watch the slow pitch leagues if you want, if you have friends who do that, but to be able to watch women play at a higher level, and to know that young women like these folks standing here with us will have an opportunity to not have to stop playing after college, but to be able to go on and have more opportunities to move up in the sport and to do better and to have bigger audiences is just really meaningful, I think, for me. I'm also delighted that it's happening here at Warner Park. Our Northside Alders are here. I was a Northside Alder once upon a time. The city has a long and I think really productive relationship with the Mallards as an organization right here at Warner Park, and it's great that we're bringing women's sports into this stadium. I want to thank park staff. Our park superintendent, Eric Knapp, is here. They make it happen. The partnership with the Mallards and with Forward, by the way, but it wouldn't happen without park staff, and I really appreciate the work that they do to make this partnership work. I'm just going to go ahead and claim it. Madison is now going to be the center of the universe for women's sports, and we want to keep building on that. So I want to say thank you to the league, and thanks to the Mallards organization for making this happen. Let's keep giving women opportunity in sports, and there's so many benefits. You've heard about them, and I am absolutely confident that the Madison community is going to get behind this team, including, I understand, figuring out what we're calling it, and that we're going to fill the stands for these games. So I look forward to seeing all of you at the opener and at games throughout the season going forward for many, many years. Thank you.
So right now I want to acknowledge and thank a couple folks in the room. Wisconsin State Senator Melissa Agard and Madison Common Council Alder Charles Miadzi. Both with us here today representing the wonderful
Alder Latimer Burris is here.
Oh, thank you. Latimer Burris. Okay. So joining us next is Vern Stenman, the first employee of the Mallards all the way back in 2001. He has led the team to become the top performing summer collegiate baseball team in the country, while the Mallards have become a part of the fabric of our great community every summer. Please welcome Mallards President Vern Stenman.
All right. Welcome and thank you to the mayor, Secretary Sayers, alders, everyone that came out today. I mean, especially these softball players. How about that? Thank you guys for coming out. They probably had to cut out of school early to get here, so I'm sure that was terrible for them. But I want to talk a little bit about what this means. For 23 years now, we've worked here at Warner Park and at Breeze Stevens Field to hopefully create teams that are reflective of the communities that we operate in. And I think that's been central to our success with the teams that we've had to this point. And as we look forward to the future, into the future of women's sports, that we are committed to learning more about the softball community, learning more about Madison and what's going to matter to you guys to make this team work. We don't know. We don't know everything we need to know about softball. That's part of the reason Savannah's here, is to help teach us about softball. And we're asking her questions all the time. She's not even started working for us yet. And we're peppering her with questions every time we see her, just to learn more about the culture, learn more about what's important, and learn more about how we can connect, at every level of the game, from the youth all the way through the college. Encourage girls to go out and play softball. I know some of the schools in Madison don't have great participation in softball. We want to help. What can this team do to help support softball in our community? And after this press conference is over, those of you that would like, we're going to have a little listening session if you'd like to join us. And just tell us, what's on your mind? What do you think we need to do to make this team work? One of the things that's the most fun part of launching a new team is the name and the brand of a team. Starting today on our website, madisonsoftball.com, we have launched the Name Your Team contest, and we're encouraging people to submit all kinds of fun ideas. We're going to take the next month probably to gather those names and hear hopefully some creative ideas for what this team can be. And again, we're going to be looking at it through that lens of Madison and how can we reflect Madison really well with that team name. And honestly, I don't think anyone in the office has a strong feeling about what the name of the team is going to be, because it's not our team, it's your team. And that's how, when we start with the name, that's going to be a big part of how we get there. And I'm sure I'm missing some people that I should be thanking here, but I want to bring up a really important part of this whole project, obviously. Steve Schmidt, he's the owner of the Madison Mallards. He was the first person, I think, to really see value and have a vision for what baseball could be in this community. And I was fortunate enough to not get fired by him. My favorite part of my story is I was actually hired by the Northwoods League years ago to launch the Madison baseball franchise in the league. And I quit my job. I was starting to move to Madison, and then the league called me up and said, hey, we sold the team. and I'm like, who did you sell the team to? It'd be nice to know who I just quit my job for. And they said, oh, this guy, Steve Schmidt, you're going to love him. And I was scared because I'd never met the guy in my life. 23 years later, he's become a great friend of mine, has given us an opportunity to go out and do the fun things that we've done here in Madison with sports. And I want to bring him up to say a few words right now. He'll be the owner of the softball team as well. Mallards owner, Steve Schmidt. Come on up.
Well, this is awesome. This is great. We couldn't do this without the fans. Most important person in any business or a baseball team, of course, the fans come number one. There's two wishes. Of course, this is a major wish come true. Another wish was, second wish this morning, I looked in the mirror and wanted to redo my hair just like Jocko's, but I don't think that's going to turn out too well. But anyway, from a 9-inning vacation, we're going to a 7-inning vacation. My old saying all these years was, baseball is the greatest game. There's no clock. The ball is round. The object name is get home. Well, now there's in softball. I can't say it in baseball anywhere, but I can say it in softball. There's no clock. So I'm honored. I'm an old fella, so history, I won't bore you with this, but I go back to Sonny Hornbeck, to Ray Keller, to Willie Taylor, to Eddie Feiner and King in his Court, and the Sukamols, and fast pitch softball in Madison with the pitchers from New Zealand, Mr. Roberts, the Farm Tavern, history galore. So it's going to be great. We're going to have a great time. Simple rule, I guess, let the defense make the play. Love all you guys. Thanks for the opportunity. You guys, we won't be able to do it without you. You're our success, and we're going to build every year, and we're still trying to figure things out. So thanks a lot for coming. Appreciate it, y'all. Thank you.
So before I open it up to some questions, I want to talk a little bit about what's going to happen to the stadium. Obviously, we're not quite ready perfectly to host softball here at Warner Park right now. So we are working through an agreement right now to turf the infield. So we'll put artificial turf on the infield of the baseball field here. We'll install a portable pitching mound. So we'll be able to completely remove the pitching mound from the field when we do play softball on the field. And we'll be installing a state-of-the-art movable outfield fence as well to allow us to move the dimensions in for softball to around 200 100 feet or so for the softball games. We'll play, I think Catherine might have mentioned this, but it's a 42-game schedule, 21 home games through double headers and things like that. We'll actually only have 13 additional dates here at the ballpark this year. We will have 3 nights where we're going to do a softball and baseball doubleheader. So we'll play a softball game first for 7 innings, take a break for a half an hour, and play a baseball game. So I think those are going to be some cool nights to circle on your calendars. If you're a big softball fan, big Mallards fan, those are going to be some interesting nights, I think, to be a part of out here at the ballpark. So we're going to be doing some nice improvements to the stadium to make sure it's ready. We want this to be a world-class softball facility. This is not something that we're just forcing a softball team onto our baseball field. Steve, is investing in making sure that the field is ready to host high-level softball here this summer and for years to come. So with that, the other thing I want to talk about is, I think this might be assumed, but Mallard's general manager, Samantha Rubin, just got a new title. She's now the general manager of the Madison Mallards and of Madison Softball. And I want to bring her back. A little round of applause for Sam. We're super happy to have her. And I think with that, I want to bring Sam back up, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone might have about the project. Yes, sir.
You will have host families also?
Yes, so all of our softball players will also be staying with host families, similar to the way the Mallards players are as well. So we are currently looking for host families as well. If you know anyone or you want to host a softball player, we'd love to have you.
It's a 16-player roster, so it's a relative. The Mallards get up to 35 players at some points in the summer, so it's only a 16-person roster. They travel quite a bit. The season will start about June 15th and go until August 7th. So it's a little bit less than 2-month time period that the team will be here in Madison. So it's a little different commitment, but it's all the information is on our website right now about becoming a host family if you are interested in that.
Similar level of player athletes that you're going to be trying to recruit from as far as Division 1, Division 2?
Yeah, absolutely. So just like Mallards, we get Mallards players we get from all over the country, D1, D2, JUCO, all of the above. We plan to do the same thing with softball as well. So we're excited to create those relationships with not only the schools we have current relationships with on the baseball side, but start new relationships on the softball side as well. And grab players. We always try and grab local players. We do hope and plan to have some UW-Madison players as well. Same with Madison College and Edgewood. And then, of course, venturing out to all over the country and creating those new relationships here.
Vern, I know you don't have a lot on your plate at any time during your life, but when the Northwoods League came to you and proposed that Madison would be part of this whole league, what was your excitement level?
It's a good question. I think it took us a little while to think through it and understand it. Honestly, through the fall, we learned a lot. We went out and did our research and heard from the league about some of the interesting numbers about how the game is growing. And then, you get hit in the face every day in Madison by the success of the volleyball program and the women's hockey program and the softball program, and so many great things happening in women's sports here in Madison that I think when you put all those things together, it was a no-brainer for us, to be able to launch a team like this, in a community like Madison, how does it not work? I think we feel really confident. You look around the rest of the league, they're going to be in La Crosse and Mankato and Minot, and those are great markets, but Madison's going to be the best place to play in the country for these players, and that's our goal. We want to go out and get the very best players we can to showcase them here, and I'm super excited about the opportunity that we're going to be giving these players this will be the first time in the country, right, where this level of baseball or of softball player is going to get an opportunity to play in front of a full stadium, in the summer. It's a very different thing. Obviously, there's some college softball programs having some success, primarily in the South and things like that, but we're going to be offering something very different. Summer collegiate baseball has really taken off in the last 20 years across the country, and we like to think that the Mallards had a lot to do with that success that has been kind of copied around the country. That's our goal with softball as well, is to create a standard. We want to be the best in the country at this. We want to draw huge crowds. We want to put great teams on the field, and we're excited to do it, here in Madison.
You said Monday is the first day to start getting things going? What does Monday look like? What are those conversations now?
What a great question. You know, as we have internally talked about what does this look like and questions that need to get answered every day. It's like, oh, well, yeah, we should think about that. And there's things that come up every day that we need to figure out. But I mean, with Savannah on board, I think that our first thing is to find a coach. We really are excited to find a head coach. The head coach will be responsible for recruiting the team. And so that's kind of our number one priority at this point. You know, the facility and the operations and that side of it, it's going to be different, but we have at least some sort of baseline knowledge on that. On the player side, we don't. And so that's the number one priority at this point. You know, getting awareness about this. I think that this is going to be a huge thing to make sure that people know that this is happening here. The Mallards, everyone knows about the Mallards, and that's so exciting that everyone comes to a game, and we want softball to equate to that and to have every household know about softball and come to a game at some point during the summer. So
For me, it's going to be community building. You know, I think that's going to be the first thing, and that's going to be when I was talking to Savannah earlier today. You know, if she does one thing well for us or with us, it's going to be getting to know all the people in this room and getting to learn from people about what we have to do to make this team work and make people connect with this brand, and that's going to be the center. The other stuff we know how to do, you know, like we know how to sell tickets, we know how to cook a hot dog, you know, we know how to pour a beer, I hope, and we've got an outstanding team that can do all those things, and that's kind of another part of it that made it kind of a no-brainer for us, I think, is that we have the Mallard staff on a full-time basis is larger today than it's ever been in our history. We have more talented people, I think, in our team than we've ever had in our history, and you know, with the addition of Savannah, we think that we're as ready for it as we can be, but I think community is going to be the first piece.
What are you going to do as far as women's locker rooms? The locker rooms are pretty limited here, and you spoke of having a men and women's doubleheader, and there isn't locker rooms to support that yet.
yeah, so at this point, we are planning to have the softball team take ownership of the visitors side of the clubhouse because the team is significantly smaller. Like Vern mentioned earlier, the Mallards roster can get up to 35 plus coaches. Softball is 16. So they're going to fit really perfectly into the visitor side of the clubhouse, and that will be their home clubhouse on those days where there's double headers. Unfortunately, I think the away teams aren't going to have a place to go to start, but you know, we're plan to get lockers, make sure everyone can lock everything up, but the visitor side will become the softball home clubhouse.
The city's not looking to provide you some expansion in that area?
You know, when you look at the facility standards, even in the Northwoods League, 25 teams, I bet 10 of them at least don't have clubhouses, period, for home or away. And so you know, I think that we've got a pretty good plan in place that we feel good about from a facility side of things. We are working through with the city to you know, get approval for the improvements we need to do to the stadium, and that process you know, has already started, and we're in motion on that. But I think that the clubhouse side will be able to work through pretty well. Anybody else?
Apart from the upgrades to the infield, are there any other future upgrades to the ballpark?
Yes. Next question.
Always.
Not today. Well, we do have some fun stuff every year. You know, I think part of the Mallards brand and our success has been continuing to invest in our facility. I think Steve, again, has done an outstanding job of giving us that ability to continually invest in this facility aggressively over the years. And you will absolutely see some news coming out in the next couple months about some pretty exciting improvements we have coming that will benefit both softball and baseball.
So you got two games with a ball and a bat. But after that, the playing field is really different. You know, shorter bases.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Shorter. How are you going to pull that off?
And that's why you need turf. You know, the baselines, obviously, you couldn't expect the softball players to run on the grass. you know, and so that's why we are putting in the artificial turf. So the surface in the base path area would be the same as the infield area. It's relatively common. I think actually every team in the Northwoods League softball league this year will be doing the same thing.
Are there like going to be sliding areas like you'd see on the old artificial turf?
No, I don't think so. We talked about it, and from a maintenance perspective, and honestly, just from a consistency of play perspective, I think for both teams, the infield will be 100% turf.
But what about the fences?
They will not be turf.
I mean, you know, they're not going to have to hit a softball 300 feet.
Yeah, so we're going to install a portable, a movable outfield fence. I know we're throwing a lot of stuff at you here, but we are going to put in a movable outfield fence, so we'll be able to bring in the dimensions to about 200 feet for softball games, and then we'll be able to remove them quickly after a game and play a baseball game. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
One more. How does the NCAA feel? Has there been any discussions with them?
Yeah, that'd be probably a better.
Yeah, I can speaking with college coaches across the NCAA. There's a coaches convention every year that I just attended at the beginning of December, and there's overwhelmingly positive support for a concept like this. There's a couple of small summer collegiate softball leagues in the country, nothing with this model, where there's fans in the seats and it's a community-based experience like what the Northwoods League provides. So overwhelming support from colleges across the country for their athletes to continue to develop their skills and get more repetitions over the summer in a sport that otherwise the opportunities are incredibly limited for them to do so.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to commend you on being inclusive. But I wonder, can you speak on like mentorship for like youth? When we talk about outreach.
I think, a huge part of what we do, as a sports organization is bring in young people and give them their first opportunity to work in sports. And I started as an intern in this league 27 years ago, I think, and we pride ourselves on that path. And we actually even brought in some high school kids last year to kind of start their path. So yeah, we already do those kinds of things. We're absolutely open to continue to do more.
I think on the player side too, our baseball players are pretty good at going out to camps and leading clinics and that sort of thing, and that is the intent for the softball side as well, to hold clinics here for youth softball players to go out into the community and host those as well. So I think that model would kind of mirror as well.
All right. Thank you, Alder. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you so much for coming out tonight. We look forward to seeing you June 16th when we get this thing going. If you do want to stick around and throw a few ideas at us as we kind of have a little chat about what the softball team is going to look like and feel like, we'd love to do that. We'll be here for a while and look forward to hearing your creative ideas. Anything else, Sam?
No, thanks guys.
Thank you.
For an improved news experience, the all-new Channel 3000 news app is here. Tailored for your news the way you want it with a customizable home page. Stay informed effortlessly. Swipe through articles without returning to the home screen. And no more waiting. The new app loads faster than ever, ensuring you get news updates instantly. Download the all-new Channel 3000 news app today. Your gateway to news your way. Powered by News 3 Now.